Good afternoon, everyone. I am Brooklyn District Attorney Ken Thompson. Less than 3 months ago, at about 11 p.m. on Thursday, November 20th, 2014, Akai Gurley, who was an innocent, unarmed man, was shot and killed in a dark staircase by New York City police officer Peter Liang as he was walking down the stairs of the pink houses in the East New York section of Brooklyn. As Police Commissioner William Bratton said, Akai Gurley was totally innocent. All he was doing was walking down the stairs with a friend. He had done absolutely nothing wrong. Shortly after Akai Gurley died, I made a promise to the people of Brooklyn. I made a promise that we would conduct a fair and thorough investigation into his death. And that's exactly what we did. As prosecutors, we had an obligation to be fair to Akai Gurley because he was more than just a name that appeared in the newspapers in the days after he was killed. He was a man and a father of a 2-year-old daughter, his 2-year-old daughter, Akela. He was a son to his mother, Sylvia, and stepfather, Kenneth. He was a big brother to his younger sister, Akeisha, and little brother, Malachi. And he was a friend and a companion to Kimberly Ballantyne, who was the mother of his child. We also had an obligation to be fair to the police officers involved in this matter, because police officers put their lives on the line every day to keep us all safe. And make no mistake about it, this city is safer and stronger because of the courage, sacrifice, and dedication of the men and women of the New York City Police Department. Now, we finally have an obligation to the people of Brooklyn to get to the truth of what happened to Akai Gurley that tragic night he lost his life. I want to take a moment now just to introduce to you the members of the investigation team, the prosecutors who led the investigation from our office. This is Mark Fleetner. He is the chief of our Civil Rights Bureau. And this is Joe Alexis. He is the chief of our Red Trial Zone, which means he is in charge of prosecuting all the cases that come out of the East New York section of Brooklyn. Working with Joe and with Mark is Ann Bordley, who is a very experienced and outstanding prosecutor. Now, I want to be clear that we would not have been able to conduct a fair and thorough investigation without the invaluable assistance of the NYPD. In particular, the Internal Affairs Bureau of the NYPD worked tirelessly to investigate this matter. And so I want to thank Police Commissioner Bratton and all the outstanding members of the NYPD who helped us every step of the way. Now, my office began this investigation within hours of Akai Gurley being killed, when our Chief of Civil Rights, Mark Fleetner, got the call from Internal Affairs about this incident. He literally jumped out of his bed and rushed to the 75th Precinct in East New York. He got there at about 2 o'clock in the morning, and he interviewed Melissa Butler, who was Akai Gurley's friend and who was with him in the staircase when he was shot. We got Miss Butler's account of what happened that night right then and there. even before she learned that a police officer had done the shooting. We did more than that. As part of the investigation, we interviewed dozens of witnesses, and we inspected the staircase multiple times. Now, I, as the Brooklyn DA, even went to the pink houses to inspect the scene. We continued to look for every witness we could find. And investigators from the Brooklyn DA's office on Thanksgiving night went to the building and knocked on every door of the building because we were determined to find out exactly what happened. Now, I want to talk about the charges that were announced in court today. But before I do, I want to remind you that the charges are merely accusations brought against police officer Liang, and that he is presumed innocent until and unless he is proven guilty. As stated in court, he has been charged in a 6-count indictment, and the charges are as follows: manslaughter in the second degree, criminally negligent homicide, assault in the second degree, reckless endangerment, and 2 counts of official misconduct. Now, it is important to note that there are no winners here. An innocent man's life has been taken, and a young police officer who joined the police force to serve and protect the people of this great city now stands accused of taking that life. And for those who want to unfairly criticize the police because of the indictment of this one police officer, it's important to recognize the courage and valor that many police officers showed that night when, after the call went out about a shot being fired, dozens of police officers ran towards that building thinking that there was an active shooter inside of it. So they ran towards what they believed was danger, and they did so to protect the lives of the people who live in that building, because that's what police officers do. And when some of those officers saw Kai Gurley on the floor dying, they dropped on their knees and they tried to save his life, because that's what police officers do. They save lives.